Hi everybody, my name is Sarah Devlin and welcome to this installment of my beach series of plein air paintings. This is the second in the series of three. I will link to the first one up top, and at the end I'll link to where you can find the third one once it comes out. So this was the only painting I did that wasn't done from life. It was done from a picture because we went to a donut shop called the Fractured Prune in it's in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, and while their donuts are very good and very delicious, they make them custom while you wait. If you've never had one, you really should. They're amazing, but it's very loud and very crowded in there, and there was five of us, I think. Two of them, small children, So it wasn't conducive to sitting down and painting. So I took a picture of my donut, which was mint icing with mini chocolate chips on top, and brought the picture back with me. And then, we were hanging out in the afternoon before we went to the beach, I painted it. So you can see now I've done all of the chocolate chips, and I'm moving on to the icing. And I was very daunted with all of the chocolate chips, and I didn't, match the chocolate chips exactly chip for chip to the picture, but the general grouping was how the picture, how the donut was. And you'll see at the end I have a picture of the donut in here. And I had a hard time finding the right, chocolatey color of the chocolate chips. You'll see at the end I end up putting on more of a slightly different shade. And I had the same sort of problem with the icing, getting the right shade of green, just because it was such a dark green, but at the same time it wasn't very blue, and I wasn't really sure how to go about finding that. And you'll also see when I finish this, I didn't really paint a background. I might have done some, basic texturing of the napkin and stuff, but I didn't really. It was mostly just focusing on the donut itself. And I really enjoyed this. It was really, once I got the inking done, it was really, really satisfying just because I had all those little chocolate chips there to go around and just work on that. And it was tricky, the parts that I'm doing now, to make the paint not run over and not, blur things, although it really wasn't a big deal just because the brown was already dry. I just didn't want the green getting on top of it because I wanted a big enough contrast. So you'll see here I am almost done with the first layer of paint. You might see my nieces pop in here and there. They were interested in what I was doing. Okay, so we have a little jump in footage, and now I'm working on the second layer on the chocolate chips. And I did that, like I said, because the brown wasn't really dark enough, because it was really a dark chocolatey brown. And there was just too much yellow in the yellow tones in the initial layer of brown. And it was an alright brown, but it wasn't pigmented enough as well. So that's what we're doing here. We're just finishing up the chocolate chips. And this was a challenge just because there was a lot where the chips touched, so I'd kind of spread the paint out rather than just drop it in the individual chips. And then, I had to be aware of where they stopped touching and where they did touch and all that, so I didn't run over the borders. But in the end, it was a challenge I really enjoyed. This is probably one of the most detailed paintings I've done. I don't know ever, but it's up there. It's one of the more detailed paintings. And I really did enjoy it, like I said. So I'm finishing up the second layer of brown on the chocolate chips, and I do think that makes it look, rather than just brownish blobs, they really do look like chocolate chips now. And I'm going to go in, you can see I'm mixing up a darker green to try and just get it to the right shade of green. And unfortunately, I feel like this shade of green was a little bit too yellow for what I was going for, but I was having a hard time finding the right mix of yellows and blues and the undertones of the green. So really, I just went for making the green darker. As you can see, that's what I did there. And now I'm doing just the brownish of the napkin that it was sitting on. I felt weird to just kind of leave it, just sitting there on nothing. And I wanted to make it, look a little bit more like a real thing rather than just a weird shape. And you can see now that the green has dried, it looks a lot better. And I don't think I added a third layer of paint that you didn't see. So I'm just adding a light brown wash to that and some texture. And I'm doing the same in here, but a little bit darker, just because I wanted it to be in shadow, because I mean, the donut is, you know, blocking the light in the hole, and I'm just adding, like I said, texture. And I'm adding a little bit of shadow to that part of the donut. And that is about it. Here's the picture. Obviously, it's oriented slightly different, and I really could have gone and done a lot different shadows, but I decided to leave it simple, and that is it. So I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and there is one more painting in the series coming up in a couple weeks. Thank you for watching. Bye!